Welcome to another installment of the Sugar Savvy Solution, acclimating the foodie in you to a life beyond sugar. Hey, it's your girl, Carmel Jean-Francois, owner and founder of CFit Coaching. Welcome back to my channel. I got a couple of questions for you. Now, I need you to answer honestly. You don't have to give me your answers. You don't have to tell anybody what your answers are. But I do need you to answer these next few questions honestly. Question number one. Do you feel like you don't have any control over how much sugar you eat? Dessert, cookies, candy, chocolate bars, sodas. Are you thinking about sweets all day? Are you eating sugar and sweets throughout your day? Do you feel like you're consuming more and more and more sugar and sweets every day? Are you eating so much of it that you literally feel sick? Do you eat or have the urge to eat something sweet, even when you're not hungry and even when you're not thinking about it and even when you don't necessarily even want it? Do you look for something sweet when you just need a boost of energy? I know you know where I'm going with this, but I needed to ask those questions. It was a few of those questions that had led me to understand and realize, recognize, and even admit that I was addicted to sugar some years ago. Now, a few weeks ago, I recorded 3 signs that you're definitely addicted to sugar. So I would love if you definitely check that video out. I'm here to expound on that. In that video, we defined what an addiction is. Addiction is the mental and physical dependency on something that actually brings you joy, but it's your inability to stop that thing despite its adverse consequences. Basically, it's the loss of control that you feel when it comes to that thing, that action, or that behavior. Now, you very well may be saying, yeah, I have a sweet tooth, but what makes my sweet tooth an addiction? Well, if you've answered yes to any one of those questions that I asked at the opening of this episode, then you may very well have an addiction. Now, research has shown or proven that Americans consume about 17 teaspoons of sugar a day. American Heart Association says that number is way up higher. It's 22 to 30. That's a lot. Now, the American Heart Association recommends that women take about 6 teaspoons a day of sugar and men about 9 teaspoons. Now, 9 is still a lot, let's face it. 9 teaspoons of sugar is what you'll find in a typical 12-ounce can of soda. So that's just one can of soda, one 12-ounce can of soda. But we still have the yogurt that we had this morning that had sugar in it, the orange juice that we drank that had sugar in it. We still didn't count in the dessert that we consume after dinner. And we definitely didn't factor in the coffee or the tea that we took in that maybe we put in another teaspoon of sugar. So as a culture, we're consuming a lot of sugar. And the reason why those statistics are important is for you to understand and realize that we're consuming a lot more sugar than what we think we may be. If you stop and think about everything that we're eating and the fact that 73% of all the foods on our supermarket shelves have added sugar, it's a little scary to think that we are consuming way more sugar than we think. And we actually might be suffering with an addiction. And how to tell? Well, the easiest way to tell is to give the stuff up, to make a decision right now to give it up and see how long you last. So for those of you who are thinking, no, Carmel, I'm good. I have no problem. Fine, this message is not for you. For those of you who might have answered yes and your ears perked up and you're trying to figure out, how can I do better? What can I do now that I realize that? Or maybe you've known, right, that you had a problem with sugar. What to do? So that's what we're going to go over right now. Let's say goodbye to sugar addiction with these 7 effective steps. Now, before we continue, I just want to make sure that you understand and know that I am not your doctor. I'm not your physician. I am not your therapist. I'm not your dietitian or nutritionist, but I am your coach. If you want me to expand on anything that I discuss here on the YouTube channel, you're always free to find my Calendly link in the description and book a call with me. The first step in saying goodbye to sugar addiction, you already started by honestly thinking about the questions that I posed and saying yes. That's the first thing. Now, I want you to continue and expand on that first step. Start practicing some self-reflection. How much of sugar and sweet foods do you consume? When do you consume them? How often do you consume them? Having an open conversation with yourself, first and foremost, and whoever your healthcare provider is, and of course your support system, is the first step to tackling the issue. The second step to saying goodbye to sugar addiction is making a decision. Making the decision. Making the decision that today I stop this. Today I'm going to do something about it. Today I'm going to speak with someone. Today I will throw out all the things in my refrigerator, in my pantry, in my bag, in my desk that have added sugar. Today is the day that I'm going to conquer this thing. Making that decision. And there is a side note that I want to add when it comes to making that decision, is understanding that when it comes to addiction, we pretty much have to stop cold turkey. You have to eliminate it completely out of your life. That's the only way to deal with addiction of any kind. You're not going to let an alcoholic take a sip every 5 days because he did good. So we have to treat sugar addiction in the same way. Research shows that sugar addiction very much resembles cocaine addiction. So let's go in understanding and knowing that what we're dealing with here is something very, very serious. The third step in saying goodbye to sugar addiction, I feel, might be a little bit easier than the first two, and it's drinking water. Drink your water, drink plenty of water. If you have to place yourself on a timer on your phone, then do it. That's how I do it. 100% transparency. Sometimes we just get so involved in our everyday work or everyday life that we really honestly don't come up for air. And we're like, I forgot to eat today, or I forgot to drink today. Intentionally drink more water. Well, how much water should you be drinking? You want to drink about half your body weight in ounces per day. Yeah, per day, not per week. If you weigh 100 pounds, which you really shouldn't, I'm just trying to do easy math here. But if you weigh 100 pounds, then you should be drinking 50 ounces of water per day. And you want to spread it out throughout the day. You don't want to drink 50 ounces of water in the morning and be like, I'm golden for the rest of the day. That's not how it works. If you have to, mark your water, plan it out. So just keep that number in mind. Half of your body weight in ounces. The fourth step in saying goodbye to sugar addiction is really balancing your diet. Making sure that when you look down on your plate, you see the macronutrients that we consume the largest of, which is our carbohydrates, our fats, and our protein. The reason why having a balanced meal is so important is because cravings that we feel, even though we might associate it with cravings for sweet, it's because our bodies are lacking certain nutrients, because all we're eating is the sugary foods. I know because I did it. All of my meals tended to have a major sweet component to it. And so now I knew that if I was repeating my meals and the same type of meals every day, I was missing out on many nutrients, my vitamins, my minerals. They become depleted, and our bodies are actually calling out for those foods that contain those vitamins and minerals that it needs. So making sure that we're eating a full balanced meal is so important. And that's going to bring me into the next step, planning and preparation. I know it's a big deal to plan, to meal plan, to meal prep. Sometimes on a Sunday, you don't know what you're going to want to have on Thursday. But I got to tell you, this is setting yourself up for success. It truly, truly is, especially when dealing with a food or sugar addiction. What happens if you get caught out there without a meal? You're hungry. You will go to that vending machine. I promise you will. You'll go to that corner deli or bodega, end up having that Snickers bar. So planning and prepping is so important. The next step is my favorite step. It's making time for movement. Exercise, moving the body, getting a little sweaty. It's so important. Whether you do it in the morning, noon, or night, you need to be moving. I also recently posted about the importance of exercise when lowering our blood sugar levels. And I have a plethora of other exercises right here on this YouTube channel. So I'll be posting a couple in the description below. But movement is key. And it doesn't have to be strenuous exercise. It could be a walk. I say this all the time. Or it could be a 10-minute workout with a light set of dumbbells. Again, I list a few other options for exercise in that video. And another thing, when we intentionally move our bodies in an effort to be healthier and kick that sugar addiction, we also tend to be a little bit more or a lot more mindful about the food that we put in our mouths. And the last step I have for you for saying goodbye to your sugar addiction is sleep. Sleep. Sleep is so important. We already know that sleep is really crucial to our health, but we don't know how much lack of sleep really affects our sugar cravings. There's a hormone in our stomachs called ghrelin that sends signals to our brain saying when it's hungry. And when we lack sleep, that ghrelin takes over and it literally sends messages that we're hungry, we're hungry, we're hungry. So you wake up really wanting to eat. So now you wake up, you're already tired. So your decision-making process is already impeded. And now you're hungry. So you're really setting yourself up for making not so good decisions at breakfast time, at lunchtime, at dinner, and even all those snacks in between. So there you have it, our 7 steps to saying goodbye to sugar addiction. And I think I might have messed the numbers up somewhere, so I'm going to recap it for you. The first step is self-reflection and understanding, knowing, and recognizing that you do have an issue. The second step is to speak to your professional or find a support system or both. Third, drink your water. Fourth, consume a balanced diet. 5, plan and prep your meals in advance. 6, exercise, make time for movement. And number 7, the last one, sleep. Your body needs it and deserves it in order to make better choices. Now, there will be some people who decide, you know what, I'm just not doing it anymore. They'll be able to stop cold turkey and never look back. But there are those of us who it's a little bit more trickier. And even after we've overcome the addiction, it tends to call us back, right? So for those of us who have a little bit more of a challenge in that department, following these 7 steps can really, really help. Am I pretending that following these 7 steps will absolutely rid you 100% from now until the end of time? Absolutely not. This is a start. And this is an important start for you to see where you're coming from, how deeply rooted your addictions are. And it might not be on this chemical level at all. It might be more of a trauma response, in which case different avenues might have to be explored. But either which way, it's so important that you start thinking about it now. And it's so important that you get out in front of it now. Control it now. Seek help now. I'm your coach. I'm here to assist those of you who have come to realize that you've lost control over your health and nutrition and may even be combating a food and sugar addiction, just how we just spent the last few minutes together talking about. I'm here to assist you in adapting a whole food, plant-based lifestyle in order to really rid yourself and say goodbye to your sugar addiction. I'm here to encourage each and every one of you to add more plants to your plates. There's so much benefit that comes from eating fresh fruits and vegetables, eating as close to nature as possible. I'm excited to share the information that I've been sharing on this channel with you. I'm excited to bring you more. Leave me comments in the comment section. Let me know what you want to hear more of. Let me know what I haven't spoken about that you want to hear more about. And I would be glad to bring it to you. So meanwhile, come back often so that you can see what else I'll be dropping. Every Sunday at 7 a.m., I will be dropping a new episode of The Sugar Savvy Solution, acclimating the foodie in you to a life beyond sugar. So keep being savvy about your sugar, and I'll see you next time.